everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Friday, April 21st, 2023. Welcome to Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, as always, Brian Kruse. Welcome back here to Kruse Control, everybody. Happy Friday! Happy Friday! And joining me back here in Kruse Control is Miss Rachel Blakely. Rachel, welcome back to the program. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm good. Just living the dream, I guess. Being on Kruse Control for the second time this week.
Yeah. How's your week's been? Good. It's been a good time.
It's been a good time. Just keeping busy with work and having a good time. Tonight I have Jameson ginger ale in my Fast and the Furious Hello Kitty cup.
Celebrating the Fast and the Furious for a talk about tonight. I got myself a little Guinness. But also joining us back here for the second time here on Kruse Control is Mr. Keoki Kekaula. Keoki, welcome back to the program. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing better. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being back here. You're drinking a little bit of Dos Equis, huh?
I got a little Dos Equis, yeah. The Friday hit nice today, so we're getting refreshed.
It's Friday. Everybody's got to have a drink. That's how it goes, right? It's the end of the week. You know, some of us might not be every weekend, but everybody still knows it's Friday and it's a special day in everybody's heart, regardless. So
it's Friday.
It's Friday. Got to get down on Friday. Oh, that song.
I did an impression.
Impression. I know. Someone was singing that at work the other day, and I was like, bringing it back. You know, I was bringing it back to like circa, what was that, like 2015, something like that?
Something like that.
I don't know. But anyways, everybody, as always, you know, it's Friday, so now it's time for some breaking news. All right, everybody, the very first thing I want to dive into today is Godzilla vs. Kong. Okay, so the very first trailer came out for Godzilla vs. Kong, and of course, it's the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong 1, and they finally announced what this is called. It's called The New Empire. And if you've seen this teaser, it really doesn't really show much at all. It shows Kong on his throne, and it's like pushing in on him. There's skeletal ruins everywhere in the Hollow Earth, and it's going to, you know, be a new battle, apparently, with Kong and with Godzilla, because why not, everybody? Of course, the first one came right to HBO Max, and so there was a lot of battles about, like, how much money they could have made if they would have gone to theaters, but it was a different time in the world, and it just was. You know, people weren't going to theaters as much, and HBO Max had that whole thing released right to streaming, but this one's going to go to theaters March 14th, 2024. Director Adam Wingard's coming on board here, and I hope it's good. I really do. I hope it's good. I don't know if I have much faith in it. I just want to do a quick 1 or 2 thumbs up or thumbs down on this, you two. Are you excited about this or not? I'm still going to give it a thumbs up myself. Yeah.
I like Kong movies. I'm not as big on Godzilla. Lexi loves Godzilla, though, so I'll give it an honorary thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, it could be fun. The first one really just smashed them like Rock'em Sock'em Robot type stuff, you know, like destroying the city and Mecha Godzilla comes in, you know, it's fun stuff. And it did well.
To turn into an enemies to lovers situation.
Enemies to lovers. Kong and Godzilla embrace.
Yeah, they're embracing and rubbing each other.
Somebody somewhere has written that.
Hey, if there's Sonic porn out there, I'm guessing there's also going to be some Godzilla and some Kong porn out there, okay? Oh, Rachel, I believe in you. I know. You weren't here on the show the other day when Rachel was telling me all about this. So, and apparently it's a big thing,
I'm not an expert. I'm just on the internet sometimes.
Oh, my gosh. Those interwebs are crazy.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
Leave Sonic alone. Leave Sonic alone. Right. Just like I say, leave Twister alone. But you know they're not going to leave Twister alone because there's a sequel coming to Twister, which we've talked about in the program before. But now they have some new casting updates. Anthony Ramos is coming in here from Hamilton, from In the Heights. You've seen him. He's in the new Transformers movie coming out. So he's popping up everywhere. Of course, Daisy Edgar Jones, we talked about, is on here. Also, Glenn Powell was recently announced from Top Gun Maverick. So he's going to be in this. And they have a little bit more news about this. Lee Isaac Chung is directing it. He did some episodes of The Mandalorian Season 3. It's they're saying it's a new chapter in the Twister universe. It's not a direct continuation, but it's a new chapter, if you will. I mean, it's still the same thing we were talking about before. It's apparently about, you know, their daughter and their daughter's played by Edgar Jones, and she's a former storm chaser who works at a desk job and now is drawn back out in the field. And I bet she has Daisy to put up in the Twister too, the same thing. But this is coming out July 19th, 2024, so it's not that far away. And the first one made like almost $500 million, so it was a big hit.
Oh, wow.
So it makes sense that you do this, but just seems like it's a little delayed to me, you know? Like, we should have done this a long time ago.
Like 25 years or so.
Just
maybe
just
22,
a little delayed.
22 years. And it's just a smidge.
You know, I mean, I just wish
So
that they could have
late.
done it because they wanted to do a sequel. Like Helen Hunt wanted to do it. Bill Paxton wanted to do it, but now, unfortunately,
Oh,
rest in peace,
R.I.P.
Bill Paxton. R.I.P. Bill Paxton. We love you, man. We'll always love you. And you know, it sucks that he's been gone for so long.
Wonderful man.
Yeah, and Helen Hunt was trying to do what we talked about this before. She was trying to make a different movie too. She wanted to direct it. But this is what we're gonna get now. So if you're excited about Twisters, what a creative name, Twisters. There's gonna be two now.
Twisters.
They're Dorothy, right? They send Dorothy up and they spin her around. That sounds bad. But yeah, that's happening. So Twisters is happening. That's coming out in 2024.
Can it
I know.
unhappen?
I don't.
Can we
what?
make it unhappen? That would be great.
I don't think so, Keoki. I don't think so. I don't think there's any canceling this at all because I think they're just going to try to bank on it because we just reach into the past.
Right.
They'll get me back interested if it's an enemies to lovers. Maybe she falls in love with the tornado.
Two Twisters. They make a tsunami / earthquake a firenado. I don't know. If there's a Sharknado in there, I'm on board. If you throw a Sharknado in there.
Sharknado movie?
That sounds like a Sci-Fi Channel movie right there.
It
or
does.
something directed by Tommy Wiseau. You know, somewhere in that world. I mean, why not? You know,
exactly. Why not?
Why not? Twisters is coming out, everybody, and as Twisters is coming out, something out that's coming out soon because I love them. I want to talk about this. The Foo Fighters. The Foo Fighters have a new album coming out. I love me some Foo.
Sweet.
So they haven't had a new album. This is their very first one since the death of their drummer Taylor Hawkins, who died March 25th, 2022. Unfortunately, I mean he's been gone for a little bit of time now. It's just wild how fast time goes by. But they were doing a festival in Colombia when he passed away. And the new album is called But Here We Are. It will drop on June 2nd by Roswell Records. And it's, you know, the first single came out called Rescue. I hear listen to it. It's pretty good. This is the band's 11th album. And they're saying it's brutally honest and emotionally raw response to everything the Foo Fighters have endured over the last year. And of course, like, I mean, they always rock to me. You know, I don't know if you both are a fan. Like, Rachel, are you a fan of Foo Fighters at all? But I love them.
I have no hard feelings towards the Foo Fighters. I think they're a little bit past their time.
You can't stop.
But you know what? Dave Grohl is a fucking beast. So
He's a beast.
as long as
man.
Grohl wants to keep trucking, he's gonna put out something
exactly
interesting at very least.
Dave Grohl is awesome. I'm on board with him. Whatever he does, I'm on board. He's hilarious. He's on it. He's a musical genius.
He's incredibly talented.
Exactly. And he just knows. He knows that. He knows about people. He's on it. So I'm on board with him.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I'm happy they're doing this. It seems like they're going to honor Taylor Hawkins a lot in this too, which is great.
Awesome.
They would put some heart and some soul into this. Apparently, the first single's fantastic. It's out there on Spotify, Apple Podcast stuff, Apple, whatever. Anywhere you can go, you can find it pretty much. Any kind of streaming Amazon Music places, you can find it, or maybe go buy a record. I don't know. Maybe someone will do that. Buy it on vinyl. It's probably out there somewhere. I mean, it seems a little hard when it's just you can pull up on your phone, but you know what? It's still a great media.
I bought
so
a
it still
record
happens.
player this week.
Oh, look at that. See?
I love vinyl.
Not dead.
Yeah.
Vinyl's great. Check that off. If you're going to buy vinyl. Don't buy a CD or cassette tape anymore, you know, if they even make them. Vinyl at least has that heart and soul kind of in it. It's a different raw sound that you can't get anywhere else. So I'm all about that. Great collection, too. Speaking of a big collection of Spider-Man movies, all the Spider-Man movies are coming to Disney Plus, everybody. Quick little announcement here. So they've not been there. Yeah, it's funny that Spider-Man hasn't been there, but Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 1 are coming to Disney Plus today. So if you have your Disney Plus, you can actually stream them right now. They start today. Venom is going to be coming May 12th, be the first time Venom's been there too. And also Spider-Man Homecoming is coming May 12th. And there's no word on The Amazing Spider-Man 2 or the other Spider-Man movies that are out there. I mean, Venom 2 is going to be like they're saying probably be until like 2026 or something till that comes out.
They can leave that off there. That's fine.
The rights are
Wasn't that enemies to lovers?
I know. No, that was your enemies to lovers, and you see how that turned out. Oh my god.
Well, the thing is, Keoki, because you want to talk about Venom, let's talk about Venom. So I want to talk about Juno Temple joining Venom 3. That's right. Juno Temple is joining. Yeah. From, of course, these days, Ted Lasso, you know her from, but she's been in a lot of things. But she's in a co-star in this Sony and Marvel Venom 3. And, of course, she's joining Tom Hardy. And, they haven't said what her role's going to be yet. I'm guessing it'll be something significant because she is such a big name. And they're really not saying much about this movie as it is. There have been rumors that Andrew Garfield might pop in, that he might actually meet his Spider-Man in this universe. It might not be Andrew, but I love if it was Andrew, right? It'd be great.
I'm surprised they're even making a Venom 3 with how badly 2 did.
Oh, 2 was just a trash bucket.
Well, combined, they made like $1.36 billion combined, both movies. So they still made money on Venom 2. Andy Serkis directed that too. And Andy Serkis didn't come back for this one. The actual writer's going to do this. The writer's going to direct it. She's also writing it, and she's got the story along with Tom Hardy. They wrote it together. Her name is Marcel. Yeah. They wrote this together, and it's like now they're going to bring this together. So, I mean, it might be good because you have the OG writer from all 3 movies doing it. Maybe she'll have a good vision to direct. I really don't know how much she's directed in the past. I hope it'll be better.
Okay.
I wanted the second one to be good. Like, I love Woody Harrelson. You know,
love Woody.
Yeah, and I mean, I still love these movies. They're still fun. Friend of the show, Woody. Friend of the show.
Do you love them? Do you really love them? Because all right, look, I watched the first one. You love Tom Hardy. They made it fun. They made it kooky. If it had not been Venom, I would have loved this movie a lot more. But the fact that they threw Venom on there and said, "Oh, this is a symbiote," blah 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 blah, it's acting kind of like Spider-Man, blah blah blah, and you don't interact with Spider-Man at all. It kind of makes me hate it a lot. But the first movie was fun. I saw it. I enjoyed it. Great acting, fun, exciting. But also, it could have been better if it were called Venom. If it were just called Alien, Symbiote, or Life 2. And then you're just like, okay.
Life 2.
Right.
It could have been Life 2 because the way that Life ends, it really sets it up for this. 100% could have been the prequel. This could have been Life.
Exactly.
Yeah, but, I mean, we all want the Spider-Man Venom thing. The whole thing with Spider-Man where they had Venom in there for a second at a bar in the last movie, and then they didn't ever interact with anybody, and they sent him back to the Sonyverse. Like, come on, Marvel, give us something.
He left a little bloop there, so that leaves it open for.
Yeah,
that's what someone else said. And I'm like, but I'm like, they've already ruined the timeline and universe. I'm like, you get this crap out of here. It's ridiculous.
It's the multiverse. They can do whatever they want now.
Yeah.
They can, but they can't repair the damage that they've done to my poor innocent Spider-Man loving soul. They've hurt it. I need them to repair it.
You didn't like the new Spider-Man movies, the Tom Holland?
Oh no, those were wonderful. They were excellent. That's how you bring back villains and you bring them in full circle with Spider-Man. You like, I reconstituted this universe, and then they just said, we're gonna here's a little Tom Hardy there, and then just take him out. Like, why? Why would you? This isn't canon anymore. I don't care if they appeared on there, and people have seen my Facebook posts. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. But all the other ones from No Way Home, that works. That totally works. That's awesome. That's how you write it in. Make a fluid storyline, and then actually build on those characters, feel those same emotions, and then collect it. And now you can repackage it for the next 10 years. I'll watch them because you guys did the story justice. You did everybody that worked on it. Alfred Molina did justice.
He was awesome.
Everyone so awesome, so perfect. They killed it, and then they actually brought back Alfred Molina and let him redeem himself too. And you're like, you let the original guy come back, and I'm like, that was really, really smart. Just great writing. And that's why it almost made $2 billion, because you're like, this is great. And then you take away Aunt May. Oh, my God. You took away Mercy Tomei.
Spider-Man and Ant-Man are the 2 strongest things that Marvel have going for them at this juncture.
That's true.
For sure.
That's true. They have it.
And I hope that they do. I hope they do. The bug men. I hope that they do well with this new Venom. I hope they do. If they have a Spider-Man Venom thing finally, I think it will do really well. I just don't know if they have the ability to do that with Sony and Marvel, if they'll make it crossover, because they're all weird about how they're doing this with Spider-Man now. So we'll see.
I
I'm
heard
nervous about
somebody's
it.
trying to do a purchase, like they're trying to do a big purchase with Apple to buy Sony, which I'm like, please do that so that we can just get them out of the equation because they do so well at writing terrible movies and then trying to put it around good stuff. I want them to stop. Just go ahead and do your Men in Black, not Men in Black. You can go do your other movies that don't include Marvel. I'd be great with that.
Yeah.
I don't need another Morbius. I just need Spider-Man. I need Spider-Man.
We don't
It's
know.
Morbin time.
Nobody needs Morbin time.
Morbin.
Nobody needs that.
No
You know what?
Morbin time.
Rachel, drink to that Morbin time.
It's Morbin time. It's Morbin time.
You know what? It is what it is. They've been trying to do their own thing. Of course, they need more help with Marvel to make their movies good. And I hope that, if they do it right, they either bring Andrew in for this or, I really was excited because I like Tom Hardy as Venom. I was hoping that he would be,
Right.
in the Marvel universe, but unfortunately it's not there. So it is
Right.
what it is.
Maybe after Secret
Me
Wars,
too.
They brought him in.
or Secret Invasion's coming out, so maybe they can throw in like a little Secret Wars action in the next couple of movies before Kang.
They need
and
to
reboot Venom in there, and I'll get on board. I'll get on board.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The creator of Mythic's Quest is not on board with F. Murray Abraham because apparently he has been fired from season 3 of this show. Now, the Mythic Quest show, he's done 2 seasons, and apparently they fired him because this came out in Rolling Stone, was because there were 2 allegations of misconduct against him. And he was giving a warning for the first one, and then he did it again, and then at that point, the creator's like, hey, we got to let you go. We're not bringing you back. Lionsgate, who produces this, actually said we take allegations of misconduct seriously and investigate them thoroughly as a matter of corporate policy. We do not comment on personal actions. Now, he played the character of C.W. Longbottom in this, and in the show, they just kind of wrote him off saying that, he was terminally ill and he decided to go out in a blaze of glory. And he had an apology. He put it out there. He said that he is sincerely apologetic for this. It wasn't his intention to offend anybody. He was telling jokes, nothing else. And that upset some of his colleagues. As a result, he lost his job. What did he say? No, because I don't know. They didn't say what he said.
I was like, do we know what he said?
I tried to find out, but
no, I was looking too.
A comment, yeah, and it was just, I said some stuff, and they told me not to.
I told some jokes.
Lost my job, and it told some jokes.
Right.
I lost my job,
So
and I lost a very great job. So he did it.
It could be anything from like a joke, or it could have been super racist and fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Without knowing what it was. Like,
right.
You always hear that excuse from especially older comedians.
Exactly.
Who are like, it was a joke. No one has humor.
Exactly.
I come from a different age.
Racism is a fucking joke, guys.
You're in Sarkis and Amadeus. I know for a fact that you've said some racist things. I just know it. And you're in Last Action Hero. I'm like, okay. You've seen some crazy stuff on set and have probably done some crazy stuff. So please try to align with your cast members and crew to try to keep that job, And I think he was just working on Lotus.
Especially on set.
He worked on White Lotus this past season. So he
was great on White Lotus too.
Yeah.
But he kind of played a little smarmy kind of kind of character too. Like you cry, I was like, but that's, I guess you're at that age, you play what you can play, and he plays it so well. I think of him as Dardell from Homeland too. He played that part so well. I hated him. And and this is a great thing for him. Apparently he had a lot of fun doing this show, but you got to be careful what you say on set. It's a professional environment. And if anything, we know that it's changed a lot since we first we started working on set, Keoki. When we first started, people would crack very inappropriate jokes all the time. We're just talking within the last 10 years. But after the Harvey Weinstein thing, people started cracking down actually and taking care of things and making people feel comfortable on set. It changed,
That's good.
And he should know that. He should know that well enough. You're on the upper part. You're on the top 10 on the call sheet. You should be doing better than this.
A lot of those changes are for the better because it isn't okay to be making rape jokes or racist.
It's true.
It's not funny towards the target.
Exactly.
There are some sexually charged jokes that are super funny. You can make a dick joke and it be super funny. But if you're joking about sexually assaulting somebody, that's different. That's not okay. That's not okay.
Yeah. It's a fine line right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then you have no idea what's going to offend somebody like that too. If something's inappropriate, it's inappropriate at the end of the day, And even if maybe that you think this person's found that you don't know, it's you just maybe you're at work. be a little held back from that kind of stuff. You're in a professional environment. You're even when you're like at a work function, be careful too, because you just don't know. It's just you just don't, and there's not really a spot for it anymore. There isn't. So maybe you learned a lesson doing this. I don't know if he did or not. Hopefully. And it sucks because if you like the show, maybe you loved his character, but unfortunately, people have to feel safe. You work long hours on set, and you have to feel comfortable, like being able to handle it and not feel like it's a bad environment, because it's hard enough. As we know, it's hard enough to be on set for 14 hours a lot of times and away from your family. And like, what am I doing this for? And then you're being harassed on top of it, or feel uncomfortable. That's not good. Exactly. It's just not good. It's always good to take care of the set first and be safe. And that leads me to my next conversation. I want to talk about Russ when we talk about safety, because now some more stuff came out. Alec Baldwin, but apparently they're dropping the case against Alec Baldwin now. The involuntary manslaughter is being dropped. So that's the thing. That's a whole thing, Keoki, but they're dropping it, and they're saying this reason why is because they don't have enough time to actually investigate before the actual trial coming up, and they're still investigating. So the prosecutors are still investigating. They said the case is still open. There's still an ongoing investigation into what's happening, and he could still be charged again later on. But they are dropping this. And most of the time when this happens, though, it'll be a lesser case, cause. It won't be as big. It won't be manslaughter again. Of course, you won't be serving this kind of time. But the reason why they said they had to drop it too on top of that is because Alec Baldwin's lawyers came out and they put some evidence out there that apparently made it kind of iffy if he pulled the trigger. They said that the Colt 45 had been modified prior to shooting, making it more difficult for the DA to approve that Baldwin actually fired the gun. And because of that, all their stuff got thrown out, and then they had to drop the case. And of course, Alec Baldwin's team was like, yes, thank you. This is, we're so excited about this. And we encourage you to keep investigating and find out, take care of the people that did wrong, actually, and we're happy this is cleared up. And they went back to work. So Baldwin's currently in Montana right now, back on set for Rust, resuming after a 17-month pause. So it's a lot, it's a lot. And I think, the whole thing is, it's like, I still kind of go, he did pull a trigger. Something happened with the gun, but that gun should never been on set. There's a lot of things that goes back to the armor again. We've talked about this. That goes back. I mean, I feel like Rachel, you've been here before. We talked about this. Right. It goes back to the armor a lot of times. Who shouldn't have been in that spot. I can see this being dropped. If they're still not giving up on it, everyone was saying yesterday, like, oh, it's done. Well, something could still come of it to him. But the likelihood is less and less now. They're still going to keep doing their due diligence though, and they're still going to keep looking into everything. It's just they weren't able to prove something before they actually went on trial, so they're like, well, we got nothing, so you got to drop the case. Right. We got nothing. No, I know. Like Alec Baldwin's probably loving this. It's great for his career. It's great for the production to go back into shooting. Hopefully they honor that DP.
I wouldn't say he's loving the situation.
Right. He wants to be done with this.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
Possible.
He still has to live with, somebody died on his set.
Yeah.
He did.
And that's hard to live.
It's going to follow him the rest of his career.
It will.
Personally, I think I am not a huge fan of the structuring of our judicial system as it is right now. I don't think putting him in jail for 10, 15 years, whatever he would be sentenced to, is helpful.
Right.
I think everybody on set should probably have to do a lot of intensive training, maybe some community service, something to give back rather than, just throwing them in jail. That's not going to help the family. That's not going to bring this person back. That's not going to teach them really a lesson. Especially if Alec Baldwin is the only one who takes the fall.
Right.
Because everyone who was involved in every step of the process needs to go through some more intensive training to make sure it doesn't happen to somebody else. I think another thing that could help is if they maybe pass some more requirements for when you have weapons on set.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure this doesn't happen to somebody else in the future. And that's really all you can do at this point.
Right.
Yeah, and not be cutting corners, because they were cutting corners in this production. That's the biggest thing too. The fact that the original armorer quit, and then they just upped up the assistant armorer who's ever done before. Is not union. You know what I mean? Has not been trained the same way. Well, she was trained under, I think it was her father actually, but it's not like she didn't have a certification the way she should have been doing this job as it was. Okay. It's a huge problem. Like I've said before, I worked on Westworld. How it normally works too, it's like that armorer is like no one's getting that gun until they've cleared it, showed the actor, had people hold it. Anybody come around, I'll show you the gun too, empty the chamber again. And then even rehearsals like this, I've heard people give the argument, oh, well, an actor likes to feel the gun because it's heavy. They want to rehearse with the actual gun. Like that, but that barely happens. Like they give them a rubber gun. They're like, this is what it is. We're not giving you a live gun for rehearsal. And he had a live gun. I mean, there's a lot of problems that happen here, but I mean, it's not all him.
It's not hard to make a fake gun that has the same weight. It's not hard to make things that have the same weight.
It's absolutely not.
No, right. So you
could make a wooden one with the metal handle.
Right. You would think after Brendan Lee, this wouldn't happen again.
Exactly.
You would think. Yeah, but
that was such a high-profile situation, and here we are, 30 years later, and it's happening again.
And then Brandon Lee's was just the cap. It was the blank that hit him and popped the blood vessel. His was with those actual rounds. Like the fact that those were even there is a violation right there. On top of that,
huge.
The armor's supposed to watch that stuff. And like you said, if they got canceled, I was wondering how that happened. And I've been reading about it, and I'm just like, it's not his fault. The actor is not there to check the guns. The armor is supposed to handle all of that.
The actor should be able to trust every person along the line has done their job.
Yeah.
Right, just like they're trusting the director, just like they're trusting, any
it's a team effort.
Producers. Yep,
there's no way.
And the first AD handed him the gun.
Right.
The first AD handed him the gun, that's a huge violation right there. The first AD should never be handing off the gun.
He shouldn't be touching it. Exactly. He should be like, armor, take this, blah, blah, blah. You're handling it the whole time. Because like we said, we've been on set. I've handled regular fake guns that looks real, and then the armor is there. He's like, nope, you got to make sure to hold this. I'm holding it until he gets over here offset. Nobody else is touching that gun except you because you're the only person that should be touching it at this time. That's literally how it's gone. And I'm like, I wasn't even on Westworld. That was like on a different series that was just like out in the desert. But it was just like, hey, nobody's touching that gun unless you're the specified person for it.
Yeah.
And all these shows like the CSIs and all that handle guns all the time, they always have someone on board that's just handling that. It's their job, Exactly. That is their job. And they're making sure things like this don't happen because of issues that have happened in the past. Like, you have to be safe. That's like a big thing, safety. And that's why we start days with safety meetings, Exactly. They have a huge safety meeting. Like, this is with guns we're working this day. This is the scenes we're working with guns. These are the stunts we're doing these days. I mean, if you've ever worked on a set, you've seen that. If you haven't, that's normally how it goes. And sometimes on productions like this, you're out of California, you're like in the middle of nowhere, and maybe you cut some corners. And when you cut corners, bad things can happen. They're there for a reason, especially for a safety issue like this. And it's not like it's never going to be Alec Baldwin. It's like there's a lot of people that cause this to happen. So a lot of negligence that happened on this set. And hopefully now they're back, they're actually going to follow some more protocols and be safer with everything because that's what has to happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen before, and we lost someone, and it's going to be something that we're always going to be thinking about. Always. And he's going to think about it too, Rachel, like you said. He's always going to have that in the back of his mind the rest of his life. And so, you know what?
And
he's got to live with it.
Everyone in that chain of command does too. So that they do their job better. And that this doesn't, there's no excuse for this to have happened. And it should never happen again.
Yeah, it should never have happened. It shouldn't have happened. But you know what? Unfortunately, it did. Alec Baldwin's got let off from these charges now. He's going to be back to work, like I said, right now, going back to work, back in the field doing his thing, and hopefully the movie turns out well and it honors her after all this, and it doesn't happen again. That's the hope.
And I kind of knew that. I'm sure, Brian, you knew that that's what ultimately was going to happen. I mean, production charges you could probably get, but literally the chain of command, just like you said, armor, handling gun, someone else underneath them would be not connected directly to the artist because they don't go get the gun. It's brought to them. So that right there is the chain of command.
I think Alec Baldwin does bear some of the responsibility being the producer.
Absolutely right.
He didn't call filming until they replaced the armor.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Like some charges.
That's where he holds responsibility, not in the firing.
Yeah.
He holds responsibility
I agree with that.
And that's the thing, a lot of these actors take on being a producer too, and they don't think about the ramifications it can have because you get paid more money, you get some back end points. A lot of times you don't do a lot when you're a producer like this. Like he was more than just a producer name on this, as I've been told, but most of the time still you're acting, you're not doing a lot of your producer duties,
Exactly.
So, but you're still on the paper, you're responsible. So that's why a lot of this stuff moved forward, like Rachel was saying, because you're responsible. And then so like if something messes up, and then a day it could be your ass. So hopefully this hopefully this doesn't happen again, but man, we don't know. We really don't know. And also this could happen again. It really could. Just like a new Twilight series is happening again.
I had one more question before we segue. As an actor, do you feel more uncomfortable working on set with weapons now, or do you feel like this is kind of like people have learned their lesson and will move on?
I don't feel uncomfortable. I feel like I have been trained enough. I've seen enough of it. I've been around enough of it that I will always be aware of certain protocols that be followed and be aware. And if I see something, if I were to see something that I think wasn't safe, I would say something. Especially when I get to that point where you're on set and you're the actor, I would say something. I'd be like, hey,
right.
Like let me see open the chamber, maybe. Like let me see the gun. You know what I mean? Like certain things you can follow. And of course, like if you don't say that, then something can happen. You know what I mean? And that's also the fact that Alec Baldwin you could say that about him too. He could have said something too, like been aware of it more.
Absolutely. But if you were the actor on the other end, like say you were the actor who was being fired at, do you feel more uncomfortable now?
Well, I would still I would always check it out before it got pointed at me. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm very, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, no, we have to go through the protocol. I'm involved with the SAG board a lot with all this stuff too. So like, I'm very much about these rules and I believe they exist for a reason. And so like, I don't feel, I would be more upset if the guns go away actually, because they do bring realism and even the blanks and stuff like that you can't get with CG. So I'd be more upset if they went away because people weren't following the rules, and I would fight to keep that realism on set, but keep it safe. You know what I mean? So I'm always about doing something right. And I would fight for it because I just feel like that is good. And you can see the production quality in Westworld alone. You know how well that looks. Can you imagine those blanks? And you see them live too. It looks so great, but you just have to do it right. I mean, right? Keoki knows he's been around that stuff too.
I have. Yeah. Safety first is number one. But like you said, if you're being fired upon, you can say, hey, excuse me. I'm like, can we stop that? Make sure I check that gun. That's it. You can say that and then just go right back into character if you feel like you need to. But like Brian said, it's safety.
I hope you guys and every other actor always feel comfortable enough to advocate for themselves. If your set does not make you feel comfortable to advocate for yourself, you probably shouldn't be there.
No, absolutely. I've worked on non-union sets on commercials where there's explosions going on. And I'm like, why do I have PTSD? Yeah. Something blew up next to me. And I'm like, oh, because I didn't say, oh, we're going to go through this and this is happening. So after that, you're like, no, make sure, like Brian said, follow the protocol, be safe. And that's number one.
Yeah. And do it right. Do it right. And I know the fans of Twilight are saying, do it right when it comes to a Twilight series coming forward. Do it right for the fans. Do it right. Well, the Twilight series was announced yesterday, and it's a TV series by, of course, Lionsgate. And they're saying they're bringing in Stephanie Meyer. They're working with her to make this all work up and line up with the books. Okay. Now, they're not saying exactly what it's going to be about. They don't have a network. They haven't sold to anybody. They're just like, we're producing this. We're making it happen. The last movie came out in 2012. It's been a long time. Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, Taylor Lautner. It's been a while, right? And and now if you want to get your Twilight fix after seeing it's like, I need to watch some Twilight. You can watch it on the Peacock right now. You can watch it on the Cock. It's out there right now.
Watch that Peacock.
But they're not saying this is a reboot or if it's a continuation or if they're gonna bring in another cast. They're just putting it out there. We're making this. It's happening. Of course, this is also piggybacking off of how WB is doing the Harry Potter stuff too. I say that because they kind of came out that time and they were both like big franchises. But you know what? People loved it, and then some people loathed it. You know what I mean? But even if they loathed it, they still watched it. They still watched it because they did great. I mean, honestly, this is where Rachel and I might be like a little bit. I didn't love the movies. I still saw everyone in the theater though. I still saw them all.
I started seeing them as a joke. So I was like totally one of those people who's like, I'm too cool to like Twilight. And then like me and my friends started going ironically. And then we got really into it by accident. We got like Stockholm syndromed into liking Twilight.
No, I saw it with two different girls.
I appreciate it as like a comedy.
I mean, it is like a comedy a lot of ways. Like honestly, the first time I saw him like the shiver or whatever it was, or she shivered at him or something like that when he shimmered.
Shame.
Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
Killer Bella.
Right.
What is happening right now?
Impression.
And then, impression. Yeah, I mean, it's wild to me. It's wild to me. Someone's saying, leave Sonic alone out here. I'm not good. I keep missing the chat here, everybody.
Dude, that was like at the top of the show.
The chat. Yeah, I know. I know. It's obviously a baseball team. Miss a lot. GR said
baseball is very important.
Any gun vet always checks the weapon first. GR said, Yeah, who shot first? Han or Baldwin? Han or Baldwin? We got some fun chats here.
Han did it. He admitted it.
Yeah, I mean the thing.
To Twilight.
Right. Thank you, Lexi.
I
exactly.
am actually have really mixed feelings about it because on one hand, the films were like they're very entertaining. Whether they're good or bad, they're entertaining.
Yeah.
Redoing it, you do get the option to include a lot that wasn't included in the films. Whenever you do a book-to-film adaptation, you're going to lose something.
Yep.
And they lost a lot with Twilight. So if they redo the book series as a series, that could be interesting. I'd be really interested to see some more of the backstories.
Yeah.
They have more time to fill, depending on who's running it. Because if it's a CW production, that could really go off the walls. But if it's like an HBO production, that could be pretty good.
It
HBO
could be.
or like Showtime. Maybe I don't. You know what? I've kind of lost faith in HBO right now. So let's go Showtime. If it was like a Showtime production, it might be all right.
I mean, that's the thing. Like that's
but
a
if
network.
It's a continuation of the story, that would be batshit crazy for them to recast. Because like Kirsten Stewart and Rob Pattinson don't want fucking anything to do with this series.
Yeah.
They want
no
to
way.
forget it happened. They stopped letting Rob Pattinson do commentary on the DVDs after the first one because he hated it so much. And he was only in a contract. He was only in the next movies because he legally had to be.
Yeah.
That's why I probably didn't sign for a lot of Batman movies either, too, because he was probably worried, about being locked into again. Traumatized. As Lexi said in the chat, she doesn't know how such talented actors are giving such abysmal performances because they didn't want to be there.
They hated it.
He did it.
Because they didn't want to be there at all.
I believe it. He's such a good actor.
Keoki,
I'm like, that makes sense.
Keoki, were you a fan of this at all? Did you like this? Did you like the series of Twilight at all? Did you watch them? What do you think about this?
I saw 2 in the theater, and that's only because I was on dates. So other than that, I saw New Moon on a date, and then the last one on a date. The other ones, I was like, all right, these are DVD all-stars right here. We saw those. I was like, all right. But then I got invested after the third one. I was like, I gotta see how this ends. So I'm like, all right.
I saw them all on dates too. I saw every one of them on dates.
Nice.
And and it's sad it was like with different girlfriends and her dates through the time. Because I go on a date and they're like, let's go see Twilight. And I'm like, oh God, I'm seeing the next one now. Oh, I'm seeing this one now.
I saw, I think it was the second or third one first. I think it was the third one that I saw first. So I had no fucking clue what was going on at all. Just jumped right in. And then the last one, me and my best friend went to a marathon. We saw all of the ones preceding it and then the last one. And people lost their minds. There is no energy. I have not been in a theater that matched the energy of the Twilight films ever in my life. And I've seen most of the Marvel films on opening night. I saw Endgame opening night, and that did not match the energy of the last Twilight movie.
It wasn't there, huh?
No, I didn't. I watched
like the energy was there, but it was a different energy.
Yeah.
And you apparently made Lexi watch all of them, huh? That's what I've been told here in the chat.
They are honestly some of my favorite movies to watch. I won't say that they're quality-wise some of my favorite movies. The quality is iffy at best, but they are entertaining.
But they made a lot of money.
They did.
They made so much money.
Teenage girls and middle-aged moms made that a lot of money.
Right.
I kind of feel like this is going to be a complete reboot. I feel like it will be. They'll probably just go back, fill in the blanks like Harry Potter's doing the same thing, and then, fill it out some more and have it longer. Maybe they'll extend books by seasons. Get a young teeny bopper cast.
I think it'll actually be better for the series. Yeah.
With them redoing all of the characters, because Jasper, one of the main vampire, well, not the main he's like one of the vampires in the main family. is a Confederate solder, and that didn't age well. So
Yeah.
That's okay. You got to throw that in here
maybe
to show.
make him
Might not
he's
fly.
supposed to be a good guy. He's supposed to be someone you root for.
Okay, maybe
So,
he has a turn of heart.
Maybe change that.
That might not fly. That might
Make
not
him
fly.
a Union soldier if you need him to be in that time period. Like
Right.
They can do
maybe
some
they didn't have
adjustments.
to. Stephanie Meyer did not have to make him a Confederate
didn't.
soldier, and
That's
she
true.
did.
She didn't have to.
And she's also really kind of been shitty to Native tribes up in Washington because
What?
the Quileutes are based on a real tribe.
Oh,
and
wow.
she's not donating anything to the real tribe. She fetishized the tribe. She
Oh, no.
It's not okay. It's not
That's
okay
not
how
okay.
she treated the Native tribes.
Yeah.
No.
So she does need to make some reparations for that.
Yeah,
She
you got to
needs
deal
to
them in.
definitely honor them and
Well-
do something.
Hopefully this is her opportunity to do that, hopefully, because she's going to be involved. Hopefully she has a way to fix it, redo it right this time.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be as cheesy, or maybe it will
Right.
be. I mean, it probably will. Bring us the cheese. We want the cheese. We're going to put
Cheese.
Twilight. We want the
It's
cheese.
not going to be good
Give
without
us
the
more.
cheese.
Yeah, we need the cheese. We need the cheese. Anyways, Twilight's coming. It's a huge hit, or it was a huge hit. This will probably be a big hit, too. Another show that's a huge hit, though, is South Park. So South Park, everybody, huge hit. And of course, I want to talk about some legalities for a second because Warner Brothers they licensed all of South Park. Well, they thought they licensed all of South Park. They thought they were getting the libraries, the future stuff. They thought they were getting rights to everything for $500 million. And then Paramount started releasing their own specials. And they start releasing everything else. Like all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, well, this is different. It's a special. It's not a TV show, but the specials are like multiple episodes."
Yeah.
And so Warner Brothers is like, "Screw you! You're screwing us. So we're not going to pay you now." So now,
you guys, we bought South Park.
yeah, right. Yeah. They thought they even said they believed that they had exclusive digital rights on this, and they thought they were scammed. And so they stopped paying. It's about $26 million a year, $52 million. They're saying a total, like something like that they owe. And so they sued Paramount. This happened like a few months ago. Now Paramount suing them back for $52 million and saying we want our rights money. And so they're fighting back and forth about this. I think it's a little shady, if you ask me. It's a little shady. The fact that this is going on like this, and like bringing it out, being like, "Oh, these are different." But it's like we paid for exclusive rights, $500 million over how many years, And it's like it just seems weird to me. But the fact that they're suing them now because they're like, "Well, you got to pay us our money," I think it's a little messed up. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, I think they're suing just because, like, what else are they going to do at this point? Like, we got to sue you back somehow because we're not going to – we got to find a way to win this case. So I think at the end of the day, I think Warner Brothers will probably win this. I think they will, but I don't know. This came out, countersuing them. Rachel, what do you think about this? Do you think that Paramount has a right to countersue, or do you think that Warner Brothers is in the right here?
I think Paramount will lose their countersuit. Warner Brothers absolutely has every right to say, guys, we bought this.
Yeah.
We paid for this.
It's a huge property. Like, it's
massive.
God, it'll be 20 years old in like a few years here. It's a long-standing property that has still continuing a shocking amount of viewers for how old it is, and it has stood up. And the specials were good. We watched all of them.
They're fun.
They're fun. They're good specials, but that doesn't mean that Paramount should have done it. Paramount does own Comedy Central, so I guess it does get a little iffy there because they own the company that originally owned them.
Exactly.
But putting it on streaming is kind of foggy.
Right.
It's a really gray area, but they really, I think they'll lose the countersuit, honestly. And I think they have every right to be mad. I think WB has every right to be mad about it.
Yeah, and the fact, like, why would you pay when you know you're getting screwed, too? It's like, I'm not going to give you money. You already breached our contract.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. They breached it multiple times.
And Matt Stone are laughing all the way to the bank, though.
Exactly.
They're off of all of it.
They are.
They need it because they're dumping money into Casa Bonita.
Exactly.
Well,
they bought Casa Bonita. It's there.
I think Paramount paid them like $900 million.
$900 million. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Paramount cannot wait for Casa Bonita to reopen. It'll be great.
It'll be great. Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita.
Oh my God, I got to drink on that one.
Everyone has to drink.
Absolutely. I ran out. I had to drink water.
He's like, fuck WB. that's what Kenny's saying.
No.
I honestly, it's like, but there's also stuff still coming out on Comedy Central. So they have Comedy Central stuff coming out. They have stuff coming on Paramount Plus, and then they have their original content only for
Comedy
WB.
Central? Comedy Central is fucking dead. Comedy Central is just dead. South Park at this point.
It is.
I know this last season was only there. Remember when it came out? I thought I'd watch it on Max. I'm like, I'll watch it on HBO. I went to HBO because I thought they had exclusive rights. The new ones aren't though. They're only on Comedy Central. The new season just came out.
It's first on Comedy Central, and then it's going to go over to Warner Bros.
Is it streaming there now? The one that came out like last month?
It might be a couple days delayed.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
But they're still putting it someplace else first? But they're putting it someplace else first? That's not right. Right? Keoki, what do you think? Do you think that WB is going to win this, or do you think that Paramount will, get it over on them?
I think Rachel's right. I think Paramount's going to win it because it sounds similar to the case it wasn't a case, but the agreement that Fox had with Family Guy. Remember, they were like, oh yeah, the show got canceled. Adult Swim picked it up, did so well, and then Ted Turner had the rights to it because he picked up the show because they had canceled it. Did so well, and then Fox was like, all right, we want it back. And then Ted Turner's like, okay, I'll let you guys do Fox again, but only if I get to run the brand new episode, like literally the next night. First it premieres on Fox, then he runs it on Adult Swim the next day.
Hulu.
And I'm like, oh,
that's
Hulu
messed
too?
up.
Yeah. And I'm like, but that's how he did it because he's like, you want the rights
Hulu
back?
was
Get it for that.
built on Family Guy. Does anyone else remember when Hulu was pretty much just Family Guy?
Yeah.
Family
For
Guy.
a hot minute there.
Yeah, that was the bread and butter. But I think, Paramount's going to lose it because, like Rich said, they're violating that contract. Warner Brothers paid for it. They're trying to skirt around it. And yes, streaming rights are kind of weird and strange because you're not getting those residuals that you're getting for TV anymore. So now it's like flat rate pricing, lower end money. So they're trying to get that money any way they can. But they are not going to win that suit.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I really don't. I guess Beavis and Butthead's on Comedy Central now. That's what Lex is saying out there. I'm like, what?
They're on Paramount Plus. Yep, they're on Paramount Plus. It's funny, and they do memes.
The same company owns MTV and Comedy Central, and it's all there's like 4 media companies that own everything.
Pretty much, Sony, CBS, Viacom is Paramount Plus, and they did that.
And there's NBC, Comcast, and Disney,
NBC, Comcast.
Probably
this is good too.
one other.
Yep, they bought Fox.
They called it the Streaming Wars too. I didn't realize that Paramount Plus called it the Streaming Wars for their episodes. It's like
they basically gave a big old middle finger to HBO
like we want,
and
got
WB.
you.
They
like
did,
we got you, yay!
That
like what?
Was funny as shit too. I was like, oh my god! I was like, Streaming Wars. Why would it be
so
this?
Funny.
Like, do this?
It's so good, so funny. So good. I like every one that's come out of the new one. So I'm like, I've been like, it's great content for like the actual consumers. It's great because there's so much South Park content. I don't know how Trey Parker and Matt Stone are pumping it out so much, but they are. I mean, $900 million, of course you can pump it out. Yeah, they need that money. Bring it on. I think I agree. I think we all agree upon this. So I think WB's got this. I think they're going to win. I think them not paying is a testament of them knowing they got screwed. And if they did pay, it would be bad for their lawsuit too, because now it's like, why are you still paying them? If you didn't, by not paying them, it only builds their case more, being like, they screwed us, so we're not paying them. We want money back actually, because they literally gave us the middle finger. I would laugh if they showed the streaming war thing on there too. Like they're literally making fun of us right now.
So
it's like a parody. It's a parody of what's happening in real life. It's a parody.
Let's see here. Parody.
I know, right?
This is just a testament to how much cable TV is fucking dead.
Nobody's
watching cable TV
so dead, it's
whatsoever.
sad.
It's all about streaming.
It's true. Oh my god.
It's all streaming.
Do you have cable?
Don't have cable anymore.
I'm streaming from my mom's cable, but I don't have it here. No.
I use my mom's cable once in a while too. Thank you, Marlene.
Shout out to Marlene.
Shout out to Marlene. Friend of the show. Friend of the show. Mom of the show. So I feel like this is a open and closed case here, but Paramount has to put something out there to battle back and try to keep face. But at the end of the day, I feel like Warner Brothers is going to just destroy them in court. I think so, but we'll see what happens. Just like Fast and the Furious will probably destroy the box office, even though it's the 10th one. Probably, which is nuts to me. But I want to talk about Fast and the Furious as a franchise for a second, because the new trailer just came out for this. But also they're talking about Fast 11 on top of this already, which I'm just like, can we stop now? Well, they're saying we can stop. I mean, I still will watch every one of these. I still watch them. I'm waiting for them to put capes and cowls on and fly through the air as superheroes. Hasn't happened yet, but maybe in 11. Maybe in 11. That's all we got to do. Then they can end the franchise. But 11 is supposed to be the end, everybody. They're saying that 11's it. This is actually 11 will be a companion piece to 10. So they're going to flow together and be like a part 1, part 2. And the director who came on, Louis Leterrier, he's coming on, taking over for the original franchise director who left because they had a lot of conflicts apparently. And apparently like him and Vin Diesel were having issues. And so he left the product and now they brought him in. Now he's signed on for the 11th one because it worked out so well for the ending the 10th, which makes sense. If it's working, why would you do it? Justin Lin just wasn't working out. They were having too many creative problems and they were supposed to do 10 and 11 back to back. And how do you do that when you're having problems? You really can't. But this director, too, he did the Transporter series. He did Clash of the Titans. Now You See Me. And this is going to be like, it's a big thing for him, I still think. Those are big movies, but still big. I mean, the Fast and Furious franchise has made $6 billion worldwide as a franchise. So, I mean, like, it's nothing to laugh at. It's one of Universal's biggest products. So, good for Vin Diesel. Good for Groot. I am money.
It's one of Universal's biggest products, and yet they made the shittiest ride for it.
I know.
So bad.
I know.
Justice for Fast and Furious. They need a better fucking ride. Fast and Furious Supercharged is the shittiest ride I've ever been on.
I agree.
It's fine as part of the studio tour, I guess. It's still kind of like, what the fuck is this? But to make it its own individual attraction in Orlando, why?
No point. No, make it cool. Make it like you're racing in a race car somewhere or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, roller coaster makes more sense. Like there's two cars and you race each other through the whole thing. Like one speeds up, one, you know. Maybe it changes who wins each time. That'd be fun. You know, you have no idea which one's gonna win, and you just choose in the ride's different.
Brian.
I'm just saying. I've got ideas, everybody. I've got ideas.
I believe it.
Lexi's saying that they let Vin like micromanage too much, which he does. He does. It's his baby. It really is.
Come on.
I mean,
to do anything else, like
he's making so much money off.
Hand over fist, man, pretty much turning like these car robbers into
talking about family.
Yeah, talking about family. You turn these car robbers into technological wizards, spaceship flying cars. Like, good Lord. Like, after you killed all those Brazilians in Fast 5, I got off. I was like, no more deaths. I don't agree with it. You
haven't watched anymore?
Too many Brazilians. So I was like, nope, I'm done.
You called it a day, huh?
I called it a day. I think I haven't seen Fast 9 or 10. I did see like part of
10 isn't out yet. 10 is just about
10 comes out in May.
Well, that's why and I think it still won't be out because I'll never see it. But hopefully we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out I got the Peacock. Maybe it'll show up on there. I don't know. We'll see.
It might show up on the cock. You never know.
It might show up with the cat.
It probably will. It probably will. You know. But I'm not. So, I mean, okay. I'm still gonna go see it 10. I'm still gonna see. I saw 9 when they went into space. I was like, we're really in space in like a Tercel, like a Toyota Tercel or something. I don't know what it was. It was something like. It was
like now put a Tercel in space.
So far, 9 was like the one movie I was like, this is.
If anything, you put a Toyota Paseo into space first before you put a Tercel, okay?
I don't think it was actually a Tercel. I think it was like in a Accord or something. But it was something like it was something weird. I was like, you put this into space, like you put Ludacris in this shit and shooting it up. You know?
That's how you do it. Put Luda in there. That's it. Oh my god!
But everybody keeps coming back. Like Charlize Theron in this trailer for this new one. Charlize Theron is like kicking some ass. Like she doesn't care. She's like collecting that paycheck, you know?
Exactly. She's out to work. She's a pro.
Pontiac Fiero. They sent into space.
It was a Pontiac Fiero. Of course it was. It was a Pontiac Fiero with a kit. And they're like, we're going to make this look like a Mitsubishi Eclipse. And you're like, it's a Fiero. We all know it. That thing revs high at 12 miles an hour. So get out of here with that.
Send that baby on a rocket ship.
Everyone knows that the best Fast and the Furious movie is number 4, Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift is
That's
fun.
the best one.
That was number 3? No, the best one, part 2. That was fun.
Part 2. I wasn't a big fan of 2.
Too fast.
I like 2.
Too furious.
I think I think 5. Yeah, that was good. That was a good song. That was good. That was really good.
Lita's hyped.
Rachel, what do you think about this trailer, this new trailer? Do you think it helps sell it at all, like Jason Momoa's whole blowing up the Vatican thing? Or are you like, please, guys, like this is not
I am the
selling your
wrong
cake?
person to ask. I will watch every Fast and the Furious movie forever. And that's it. I already bought our tickets for Fast 10. We're gonna go see it in D-Box, so it's gonna wiggle around and have like
Dedicated.
lights and shit. Like that's
Nice.
the only movie that's worth seeing in the D-Box is Fast and Furious. Like you got the car movements and stuff. Like it's so much fun.
I agree with you. That makes the most sense to see it that way.
Night in the D-Box, because that's the kind of people we are.
That's awesome.
It might also be a Stockholm syndrome situation with us and Fast and Furious. We might just be too committed at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you watch it this long, like how do you stop? You know, how do you give into it?
I do think it's stupid to end it on number 11 though. Either end it at 10 or 12, and 11 an uneven number. What the fuck are you doing?
Because the adventure can
weird
continue.
and awkward.
Well, that way Vin Diesel can bring it back in like 22 years and, pay himself.
You remember too.
Family.
They didn't kill Paul Walker's character. He's still alive in that universe.
No, of course. He's insane.
He's coming back. You know that. He's totally coming back. Vin Diesel said that we have to end his story somehow in an interview recently. And apparently,
it during 7.
This
when
is
he actually died.
When he drove away into the sunset. It's done, you know. He's just done. Well, then maybe they should have had him do a car crash. Easy enough, you know.
That is going to be so confusing for future generations because the end of 7 is like a in memoriam sort of situation, but not really. So they're like, why are we doing this?
Exactly. That was emotional. I'll add you that. That was an emotional moment. I was like,
it was so sad.
All of us who were in the moment. But in 10, 20 years, no one's going to know what the fuck is going on in that moment.
It's like, why is this happening? You're like, why did this slow down? And you're like, who cares? And you're like, oh. And you're like,
and I see you again. But
exactly.
Yeah, they said they're gonna give him an ending apparently, and they want to give Paul Walker an ending. The family needs it. I mean, I feel like we've ended it every movie. You know what's gonna end with a barbecue, like it always does. You know, they're gonna raise a beer.
Everyone drinking Corona.
I just don't know how they're still having these barbecues in LA. I'm like, bro,
friend of the show, Corona,
Royal Heights, chilling, and I'm like, you don't have that house. What's going on here? I'm like, what's
the beer, not the virus.
Yes, yeah, very true. Fuck the virus. But yeah, I just don't like. Honestly, I'm just like, it's not. They say it's gonna end, but okay. Do we think it's actually gonna be done in 11? Is it gonna be done?
Probably not.
No, the series never gonna end. Vin Diesel is gonna keep milking that cash cow until people stop going. 10 and 11 are gonna make record box office numbers, and they're gonna keep making them.
Oh yeah, like why would they stop?
They're gonna. You know what they need to do is they need to do more Hobbs and Shaw movies. They promised us a second Hobbs and Shaw movie, and they never fucking came out with it.
Well, they're not because The Rock is he's worse than Vin Diesel because he's like, I gotta control this thing, and you're like,
well, The Rock and Vin Diesel like butt heads really bad. They don't get along, so I think that's maybe why we're not gonna get a Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, all you gotta do is just watch the honest trailer for Fast 5, and you're just like, of course not. The Rock is a far more charismatic character where you're like, okay, you can do this, and you're like, Vin Diesel's like, I'm pretending to be this guy, and you're like, oh, you guys are the same person, all right.
It's true. People would way rather watch The Rock for 10 movies than watch Vin Diesel for 10 movies.
100% true. Like nobody wants. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, like The Rock is The Rock. He's still always gonna be The Rock. You know, he's the most electrifying man alive. You know what I mean? The people's champ. One day, the people's president.
The Fast movies have more bald guys than any other film series. They just collect bald guys.
They collect the bald guys.
I did laugh how like John.
Get him in.
I know. I'm like, that sounds derogatory, but in a good way for some reason. I'm like, that seems right. It just seems right.
I do love how John Cena is like comedic in this. Did you see that John Cena is like cracking jokes in this? He was very serious in the last one.
Like,
oh man. Well, he should, dude. After Peacemaker.
Yeah. He's like grabbing onto that. You know, like he's like, this is my niche now. I'm gonna run my whitey tighties around the world and like make some money. You know,
Pretty
but
much.
he was great in Peacemaker. But it seemed like
Peacemaker.
they had like the tank car. I'm like, you guys have you have tanks, like you have like I don't know what's happening, like bombs on the side of this car. And then they're driving down that dam and it's all exploding behind them. I'm like, this is why people go to see it though, because of the big
Hoover
explosions.
Dam. It's not just any dam. It's fucking
It's the
Hoover
Hoover
Dam.
Dam.
You're right. It was Hoover Dam. You're right. It was Hoover Dam.
Lord.
You're 100% right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm from Las Vegas. I can spot the Hoover Dam.
Oh my gosh. This is right. We're on 10, 20 years later. Dear Lord.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Oh.
It's just
Right, you could
Going.
not have told me when I saw the first Fast and the Furious movie that movie would have 10 sequels.
Oh no.
And,
I thought
and
that
be
was done.
still like a cultural icon.
It's the same thing. We all went to see it. I saw it with my friends, and I was like, "This movie is by far one of the most mediocre movies I have seen in my life." And then I'm like, "Wait, it's doing well.
It sure
Okay,
is a movie.
part 2."
One is
Yeah.
pretty weak. 1 and 9 are the weakest of the series.
Yeah.
And 7's a bit weird because he died.
Right.
So you get like a
one's strange.
bobblehead on his brother with the CD.
Yeah.
Let's George
that
Lucas
was
not want to go
weird.
back and fix it.
I mean, I love the respect. I respect it because I was like, "Hey, your brother's gonna do it and stand in." I'm like, "All right, that's cool." To finish it up, I'm like, "That." I think it's weird, but it's also cool at that time. But then after that, you just like leave his character alone.
Right.
Just see you again. Take him out. Don't have that there.
Hey, you know what? It's all about family. So
It's all about
of
family.
course
All
his
about
brother was there.
family.
Here's the
It's all about
family.
family
You know.
pockets.
I'm
I
also
remembering
heard-
one
I
moment.
heard that I heard that his brother was actually on set for Fast 10. So that's a whole thing.
Oh,
I
that
think
sounded
Paul
good,
Walker's
too.
in 10, and I think he's going to be in 11 too. I
Good
think
Lord.
that's happening. I mean, you got Jason Momoa. I don't know what happened to Jason Momoa though. I love me some Jason Momoa, but I did not
I like
love him in
Jason
this
Momoa.
trailer.
He's so hit and miss.
I
Jason
know,
I love him
Momoa
in
is
this trailer.
so hit and miss. He was so fucking good in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
So
he's excellent.
good.
Oh,
Excellent.
awesome.
Prime.
And then
Right.
like he's so hit and miss and everything else. It's really
No,
just a
he
crap.
he was cool for the limited time he was in Dune. I was like, cool, Jason Momoa. Okay, you're getting it. You're
Yeah.
bringing
I
it
watched
here.
Dune.
I'm like, I'm on board. Dune, and then Aquaman. He sold Aquaman. Like, who else is gonna pull on an orange
I'm not
suit?
a fucking nerd, so I didn't watch Dune.
Ah, you must
Dune
watch
is
Dune.
fun.
It's good. Dune is fun. It's good. And you're like, okay, but man,
Should be back
who else
Monday.
is
Bring us
gonna-
on an airplane.
She'll be back Monday.
He's
She'll be
currently
back
in
Mon-
the sky right now.
She's
so-
she's somewhere. We have no idea. It's like where in the world is Carmen San Diego right now?
She's
Um,
like over Wisconsin or some shit. Like,
She's getting ready to be Barbie right now. She's actually like getting her costume on. She's filming Barbie today, so she won't be here today.
Nice.
So,
Nice, Bobby.
but Fast 10 and 11 is coming. Same director sticking around for the end of the franchise. But let's do like a quick poll before we go away. So I think I know how this is gonna go. So will there be more after 11? Yay or nay? I think there's gonna be more.
will there be? Yes. Should there be? No.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with Rachel. Same thing.
Yeah. They're not gonna can't stop, won't stop. That's what Vin Diesel says. Keep
That's
it
it.
going. Keep making
Dude,
that
it's
money.
all Vin Diesel's doing.
That's
He's
all
like
he's
he's
doing.
like Groot in this. That's it.
Right.
And Galaxy
Corona
or Guardians
sponsorships.
is over.
Groot's done. Yeah.
So-
Corona sponsorships. There you go.
Groot is dead. We turned him into mulch, and now
Pretty much.
got this.
Can't stop it.
Can't stop it.
But something else that will never stop leads me to our featured story of the night. All right, everybody. I want to talk about another huge franchise, Transformers. And I would say a lot of times this kind of bleeds in with, I mean, I love me some Transformers, but it also bleeds me into Fast and Furious because they just keep making these things. We have Beast Wars coming out this summer, big reboot-ish reboot. But also on top of that, they've been talking about this animated movie coming out. And apparently, we finally have some news about this. So it's the very first time since 1986 there's going to be a live animated Transformers in theaters. First time since 86. Coming out July 19th, 2024. And this is going to be a prequel, everybody. It's going to be a prequel to the Transformers on Cybertron. And the director actually came out and he had an interview talking about this. And Josh Cooley is his name. And he was like, can we give us some details? It's semi-spoiler, not really. But we're going back to young Optimus and young Megatron when they were friends. And they were friends on Cybertron, and the political struggle back and forth, the people having to identify, like, are they taking care of the common man? Do you have a voice? Like the politics that happened with the destruction of Cybertron. And he put it out there as kind of like Krypton, when Krypton was getting destroyed for Superman. It's kind of that kind of ideal. And he said they couldn't do this as live action because it would cost like $1 billion because of Cybertron. I mean, like, think about this, like a cybernetic world, to make that in live action and be all CG anyway. So like, how would you do it? Animated. That's how they're going to do it. And his idea is to do 3 of them at least. He wants to be a trilogy. Now, of course, the very first one, we'll leave it open ending. It leads to a trilogy. They're not going to plan on a trilogy unless it does well, but they're going to do a trilogy. Come on, let's not joke around about this. We're going to do a trilogy. So it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. And they're saying that's going to be like establishing the, the Transformers and their world. It's not really just, a prequel about Optimus and Megatron, but on the end of the day, they'll be the main characters. They'll be the focus point of it. So it's going to be about them. And, to see them like struggle and fall apart and find their way and then the world being destroyed, it does sound a lot like Superman in a lot of ways. It really does. So this is happening. This is coming out. It's not that far away. And they finally announced it. I mean, I love the original. I mean, people go back and forth about the original animated movie. I still love it. I think that they killed Optimus way too young, or way too in the movie, way too soon in the movie. They just chopped him off like he's done. But this one they won't because they really can't. It's a different world. But I'm still excited about this. I think it'll be a fun movie. I love myself some Transformers, even though they are a lot of times not the best movies, and they're a CG mess sometimes. But I still love me to hear some Peter Cole and be like, I am Optimus Prime, and I will lead the Transformers to the world. I'm going to drink. Anyways. This is happening. Keoki, are you excited about this at all? I'm taking my drink. Do you think this would be a good choice to go animated for this, or would you have rather seen it be live action?
Absolutely go animated. If you do yourself a favor and watch the glory that is on Netflix, they have War for Cybertron. 3 different series, which is like 6 episodes each, but they like really go in depth of it, and you're like, oh my god, this is actually like a really good show that might play in really well with the cartoon. Because I agree with you too. Why you kill off Optimus Prime and you got the touch, old ass
so
Transformer
good.
cartoon.
You got the power.
Yeah,
we all both drink.
Bush. I know. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. But I'm ready for this. After you can hear the singing from it, I'm ready for Optimus Prime to come through in some animated greatness, and then the kids of today will actually be able to see, oh, this is the Transformers that I've been waiting for, that we've all been waiting for. And they were bad CG movies only because the director or producer at the time was so they weren't doing as well of a job. But the new movie looks cool, but this animated series sounds even better. So I'm like, all right, they're going to do some justice for Transformers.
Justice for Transformers. Hashtag.
Justice.
That's a drink right there.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
There we go. Right there.
Got it.
Keoki for Optimus Prime. If you don't get Peter Coleman back, Keoki for Optimus Prime. Hashtag Keoki Prime.
Hashtag Keoki Prime.
I'll work for 12% less than Peter.
Hashtag bargain prime.
Hashtag bargain price.
I'm just happy that man still has a job and they just chose him,
Oh,
and I do agree with you. The fact that get different directors finally, like the Bumblebee movie was a lot better, I think, than what done before too, because it's like
it looks better.
I'm not gonna try to shit on Michael Bay, but Michael Bay is kind of a douchebag. That's all I'm saying.
He's kind of a douchebag. He's kind of a douchebag. How would you?
Everybody knows it. It's true. He's very strong-willed. He's a very strong-willed individual. That's what I will say. Yeah. He knows what he wants, and he gets what he wants, especially with young women.
True.
Rachel, what do you think about this? Are you excited about an Optimus Prime Transformers animated movie? What do you think about this?
That was such a transition.
You had to throw it out there real quick.
Transformers has a much better ride at Universal than
it does. It does.
The Transformers ride at Universal Orlando is excellent.
So good.
Much better than Fast and Furious.
It's got the touch.
It's got the touch. I think we all think Brian cursed us all.
Yep.
The only Transformers movie that I've seen is Bumblebee. I'm gonna be honest here.
Really?
Oh,
Bumblebee was really good though. I liked Bumblebee. I think Bumblebee is a great character.
you
It's just
missed a
not
lot,
something I grew
Rachel.
up with. It's not something I grew up with. I don't fucking like Michael Bay, so I didn't watch his
Yeah.
movies.
Understandable.
Yeah, totally
It's
get that.
just- It wasn't in my wheelhouse. I'm excited for Transformers fans getting something that they want. I think that now is the time to make something like that. We're having a big 80s nostalgia kick going on still. We have for the past like 10 years almost, it feels like. So we're just reliving the 80s again.
We are.
Which is great for people who were kids during the 80s, I guess.
100%.
So, well, you elder millennials are killing it. You're having a revival. Good
We're
for
getting
you.
it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
So
I love
happy
it.
about it too.
I love
So
it.
happy about it.
So I'm super happy for people who are going to enjoy it, but it's not for my audience. I'm still here for the Barbie movie. The Barbie movie is what I am like so
Barbie's gonna be
excited for and like cannot wait for.
I'm excited for it
But
too.
not to divert this back to Barbie, but like Mario and Transformers and stuff, those are for you guys. And like
Peaches,
that's
peaches,
great.
peaches, peaches.
Peaches,
Ah,
peaches.
you.
Jack Black did.
3 weeks since he sang that song. Every show I've been on.
Hey, I wasn't gonna do it, and you brought it up, so it just kind of happened, you know. You brought it on. Lexi's all about this too. She was saying too in the chat that she thinks it's a fascinating story to have Optimus and Megatron, which is I think so too. It's like, and if you're gonna do it, if you go to Cybertron, it makes sense. You're right, Keoki. It makes sense to go to in the animated route. And Rachel, I'm gonna tell you, in the words of Shia LaBeouf, the fact that you haven't seen the original ones, he would say, no, 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 no,
Dude, Shia LaBeouf's best role was in Holes. Holes was fucking fantastic.
That was. I still haven't seen that movie. I need to watch that. Yeah. Okay. I need to see that. I still need to see Holes. I missed most of it. I think I saw like 80% of it.
Watch Holes. It's great.
Yeah.
Bring on the Holes.
But yeah, I mean, good for you guys who like Transformers. I'm happy for you all. I'm not going to shit on that. So enjoy it.
I think it's going to be great.
Care, though.
The fact that they're going to do it like 80s style too, I feel like it's got to be 80s style in a way, right? It has to be. They could do it all like, they could do it all CG, but I mean, this is kind of, it makes sense. Going to a theater is awesome too. I bet it'll do really well in theaters.
Hasn't Jim Cumming voiced Megatron for a long time? Isn't he Megatron?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did it, but it
let's
started.
Get him back.
He did the recent movies.
Megatron.
I think that's great. He did the recent movies. He didn't do the initial OG ones with Shia LaBeouf, the first couple. He didn't do that.
Those. Yeah, I'm talking about the animated.
Yeah, Hugo.
Yeah, animated. Oh yeah. Yeah, but they brought him in later too in the actual theatrical versions too. They didn't have him in the first few because, well, who'd they have? They had Agent Smith, freaking Hugo Weaving. You know,
did they use him for?
I like
use him for Galvatron or something.
Yeah, they did use him. They used him for Galvatron, then they switched him over to Megatron though too.
Okay, that's what I thought because I was like,
I mean, Jim Cummings is old as shit, but as long as he's alive, like let him do it.
No, exactly.
He has
let him run that.
More of like I'm gonna get you, Prime. Like more like
exactly.
that.
He's a fantastic voice actor, and that goes back to what we were saying before: is like stunt casting voice actors is not really my favorite move.
Right.
Cast professional voice actors to be voice actors. They're always going to do a better job.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not easy to voice act. Like I really feel like people sleep on voice actors.
They do.
And actors will overthink it sometimes too when they're like haven't been used to doing it, you know? And then it's a forced performance as it's something natural as opposed to like just letting go.
It's a different talent to voice act versus screen acting.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I hope they bring in the OG actors for this, you know. Hugo Weaving I did like as Megatron, but I was like upset. I'm like, because they didn't even give Jim like an actual audition. It was just like they wanted Peter Welling, but Peter Weller, but they didn't go with, you know, with freaking
Jim. They wanted fucking RoboCop to be
Oh, no, Peter Weller, I'm like you. If you
I am off. My brain is I'm like this. I'm like this right now. No, I don't know where he came from. I think he's about RoboCop so much these days. Fuck yeah, RoboCop. That I am not excited about that show coming. I love
Exactly.
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Yeah.
Drop
Let's
it.
get more RoboCop.
Dead or alive, you're
Let's get
coming
more
with me.
But not a
RoboCop.
redo.
Dead or alive.
The fucking
redo's coming.
The fucking reboot of fucking RoboCop was
Oh,
so
yeah.
bad.
That was
There's another one
sad.
coming.
They
There's
had
another one
so
coming.
much to work with. You had Michael Keaton there.
Are they
and
doing
I'm
it
like,
with
how do
Peter
you
Weller
throw
though,
it?
or are they doing a full reboot?
They haven't announced who's going to be. It's a full reboot. They're going to do a TV series and a movie. Amazon's doing it because Amazon has the rights to MGM now, and so they're doing both. That's one of their first projects off the bat from
fucking love
MGM.
Justice. I need to see
Fucking
Peter Weller's
love RoboCop,
skull
and
with
they need
like
to
aluminum
do
foil gripped
something
over
good.
it like this, like a little spider. And then
I mean, he can do it still.
Murphy, let's do this.
Hell
Get her
Why
alive,
couldn't he
come
do
with
it?
me.
That'd actually be a great idea if they brought him back and he's like old RoboCop too, because his body
Right.
wouldn't change, and then
And
his
then they're
face would
working
maybe
on
age
it.
a little bit.
RoboCop.
Exactly. They say you're the one that
RoboCop.
worked, and let's find out how you worked. All right, now let's do it on a new RoboCop. I just gave you part 1. There you go.
Right.
You're welcome, MGM
I mean-
/ Amazon.
Talking about the 80s some more, everybody. Bringing it back to the 80s.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Prime, yeah. But I'm still excited about this. I think it's gonna be a fun project. I saw it and I was like, yeah, let's go to Cybertron. Let's do an animated film. Let's do 3. I'll go watch them. I bet they'll do well. And I just hope that the new Beast Wars will be good too. And I hope that this whole reboot, rephase works. But I still like myself some Shia LaBeouf from the original ones. I thought he was good. It'd be nice if they brought him back somehow. I liked him. I like Mark Wahlberg in the other ones too. Hey, I'm gonna go talk to
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
I'm gonna talk to this
can go have his career die. Honestly, he's a piece of shit. Like as a human.
Oh, there's that too. There's that. But you know, there's also his Wahlburgers chain is not that great either. So I'm not about that either.
Not.
Burgers are not
we tried
good.
it in
They use
Vegas,
government
and
cheese.
The Wahlburgers was just like it
Government
wasn't
cheese.
worth if you paid for it for sure.
Yeah, not
I'm
at
fine
all.
with some government cheese, but like don't charge as much as you're charging for it. Like Wahlburgers needs to go step itself down.
Like, you're being cheap here right now. That's all you're doing, and you're not treating it well.
They're being cheap and they're charging like $18 for a burger. Go fuck yourself.
What? Oh,
It's
yeah.
messed up. Yeah. But anyways, everybody, it's been fun talking to you both tonight. Thank you for being here on the Friday edition of Kruse Control. It's always fun. You know, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Everybody out there, happy weekend. Keoki, welcome back again. Thank you for being here for the very second time on Kruse Control. Appreciate chatting with you as always, my good buddy over here. It's awesome. We'll have you back soon. You know?
I'll be happy to be back. Thank you.
Yeah. Rachel, thank you for being here as always. Appreciate you being here on Kruse Control the second time this week, right? Second time
this week. Let's
This
go.
week.
I'm becoming a series regular.
Right? You are at this point. Come on. We have to add your name to the credits pretty soon here. So the next time's like, Brian, where's my intro credits thing? Come on, little intro credits now. Come on.
Right?
Everybody out there, thank you for watching Kruse Control. Please like and subscribe. Join our Patreon if you can. And tell everybody right now to subscribe. We're at like 229 right now. We've gone up like 15 in the past couple days.
Yeah.
Keep telling everybody. You know, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your uncle, tell your aunt, tell your cousin, tell your grandmother, tell your uncle, grandpa, your little baby Susie next door. Tell that little chinchilla that's walking by your front door by your Ring camera every day. You're like, fuck you, man. Watch Kruse Control. Tell everybody you know. Thank you so much, as always. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back on Monday. Keoki, thank you again. Rachel, thank you again. Everybody out there, we love you. Thank you. Have a great night. And as always, see ya.
See you guys. Bye.